Been through a lot, and we still here with each other.
Felt like that, It felt like, okay, this is what it's about, making a record, getting your record on the radio.
It seems like another seemingly solid couple in the music industry decided to air their dirty linen in the public, and it's again a matter of infidelity. And you would never believe who rocked the boat of Ja Rule and his wife Aisha Atkins' marriage. It's notorious mogul scene combs, better known in the world as Diddy. So Aisha is fed up with playing a beard wife to her spouse, and apparently she has a lot of juicy to spill about her hubby's intimate preferences.
It's crazy when people have their own relationship. You really don't have to take a side. Our relationship is beyond that.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Celeb Live Channel. So, we all know Ja Rule as a rapper most famous for his hit songs Holla Holla and Mesmerize, and what's kinda non-typical for the music industry. He can boast a rock-solid marriage with his high school sweetheart Aisha Atkins. And although the couple has been married for 22 years already, Aisha is recently not so happy with family dynamics. And according to her, her husband is among those who chose to betray his principles to become famous.
You could have one hit record, garner millions of followers, and then demand a certain price and fee.
Seems like Aisha's fairy tale marriage is bursting at the seams, and she is shocked to accept the reality and acknowledge her husband's true nature. Apparently, the whole story of Jay sleeping with men goes back to ancient times, and there's one particular person Aisha blames in corrupting her husband and turning him to the other side. As Aisha stated, things became worse for her and Jay when the rapper got involved with rap legend Diddy, and she just confirmed all those stories we had heard from other people.
And it's a suite at the hotel. And this particular artist and Puff, they told me, don't let nobody come in the room.
As the rapper himself once said, his secret to a long-time marriage is friendship. And apparently, as Jay went to discover new flavors in life, he lost interest in his wife, and she turned into a convenient buddy for him. It's an uncommon thing to lose fire in the relationship, but according to Aisha, her husband literally lost any interest in being with women in general after spending time behind bars, and during taping a movie documentary called Married Life after prison, she stated he wrote all them love songs and still don't know how to treat a woman. We spent 10 plus years building our marriage, but it only took him 2 to decide he'd rather suck a stick than be with his wife. He returned home all right to get his stuff and leave. In 2013, the rapper was released from prison after serving about 2 years on gun and tax evasion charges. And as Aisha stated, he became a completely different man, treating his wife like she was a piece of furniture.
This is my buddy right here. We enjoy spending time together, as friends.
As Aisha now says, Ja Rule has never been the same since then. Apparently, during his 2 years incarceration, Jay went on his own intimate adventure and even fell in love with his fellow cellmate. But here's more to the story, as Aisha revealed that she already received mixed signals about her husband being drawn to men even earlier. And surprise, surprise, it happened during the time Jay spent behind the bars. As Aisha mentioned, she did everything possible to keep her marriage, even though Jay was in jail. She said, I literally went to visit him almost every weekend and drove there and back for, and a half hours there and a half hours back every Sunday holidays. It was football games on Saturday, and we'd go and visit Dad on Sunday. That's what we did for 2 years. But sadly for Aisha, her attempts were all in vain because Ja Rule already began switching to the other side and he didn't regret it.
I'm cool with everything and how it happened. I honestly am.
So in a shocking turn of event of Aisha, Jay asked her to stop making visits, and as she recalls now, he presented his request as a care for her well-being. When he said, listen, I'm good. I don't need you to drive all the way out here. I'm right next to Canada. You don't need to come up here. Though the nature of this request was quite strange for Aisha because she intended to stand by her man through thick and thin, she agreed to his terms, and until the end of Jay's sentence, she left with all alone, as she had thought at that time. But apparently, Jay was never alone because someone kept him company while his wife was miles away. And in his own words, this is what makes him stand out among other rappers.
Deals and everything that was set up for me was very different. Let's just say I'm good.
Now, it's not the secret that in order to thrive in the industry, you need to follow some rules and agree to doing quite uncomfortable things. And apparently, as Aisha believes, Jay was approached with such a lucrative deal while he was behind the bars, and he couldn't or simply didn't want to say no. As one person commented, it's called selling your soul to the devil. You must do certain things with men to prove loyalty. They didn't want it, but... And another user added, Ja Rule and wife tried to clean it up and initiate damage control, but it a little late. He was possibly indulging in that life when he was doing time. Too many people telling the same thing. Well, Aisha is kind of late to the whole exposure party because it was someone else who openly talked about Diddy playing a part in Jay's transition. The music mogul's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, was sharing the things he had witnessed during his work for Puff, and it seems like it was Ja Rule having fun with the infamous producer all night. Deal exposed Diddy's alleged affair with J. Rule, and according to him, he saw his boss enter a hotel room with J. Rule with a bunch of toys.
Good, and sometimes they will open the door. I'm right there by the door. Sometimes you see things you don't want to see.
Gene Deal worked as Diddy's personal security for years, and it was basically his job to always stay around the rapper in case he may need protection. However, Gene's most memorable stories are associated not with feuds and beefs with other artists, but with his boss' extravagant shenanigans and the things he was doing behind the closed doors with other male artists. While Gene Deal's job was to guard the door while Diddy and his guests were behind discussing some business, if I may put it this way, the Bodyguard's attention were sometimes attracted by strange noises coming from the behind the closed doors, and it doesn't take much to figure out what was happening in the room he was guarding for unwanted visitors.
And then sometimes you would hear a boom, 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 a thump or whatever the situation is and stuff like that.
However, it could have just stayed unproved accusations if something else didn't happen that night. As Gene Deal said while he was guarding that door and try not to associate the noise coming from the room with any crazy images in his head, J. Rule's cousin came to him and demanded to let him pass. And Gene was doing his job well, since he knew that Diddy and Jay wanted privacy at that moment. So he politely told Jay's relative to stay away from this situation and leave.
He said, yo, I'm going in the room to get my cousin out. And I said, bruh, you ain't going in the room to get your cousin out. They told me nobody could go in the room.
And the next that happened is that this man managed to barge in the room and scared both Jay and Diddy. And the Bodyguard's guesses just confirmed when the door of that hotel room opened and what a scene he witnessed there. As Gene recalls, it was a messy moment for both rappers because they never expected to be interrupted, and to much surprise, they both were without clothes.
Puff and this artist run out the room naked. I see the artist trying to grab a towel.
Now, despite Jay's wife's statements about Diddy corrupting her husband, the rapper himself doesn't see any problem here because his life is great as it is. He was a nice wife and kids that can be his facade against the vultures and evil tongues, and he's allowed to do anything he wants behind the closed doors. So sad for Aisha, who expected her marriage to be the real one, but apparently, when you connect your life with someone from the music industry, you have to follow certain rules.
See, the things that I've been through as hardships as people see them. I see them as things that I've been able to learn from.
It's not a secret that Diddy has been using his power to force male artists into inappropriate acts since the dawn of time just to prove how powerful he is. But apparently, this was not the case for Jay and was willing to participate in all male encounters outside his marriage. No wonder that Aisha is tired playing a friend and a beard wife, while she is still full of passion and desire. However, as many fans noted, once you get into Diddy's intimate trap, there's no coming back, and she may say goodbye to the previous life with her husband. As one person commented, once you get so far, you need something to excite you, and it seems like those weird things is what pleases them. And another user added, they willingly allowed Diddy to do what he pleased to them for money. Not sorry for them, if that's so. Well, it seems like Aisha wants a real relationship, and like many other rappers' wives, she realized that this fake marriage is not for her. And what do you think about this, guys? Is J. Rule fruity as his wife and Gene Deal say? And did he willingly went to Diddy's chambers that night? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm eager to know what you're thinking. And in the meantime, check my other videos about the shady side of the industry. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned, and I promise to be back very soon.